Have you ever wondered what truly happens to the energy that powers your thoughts, the warmth that radiates from your skin, and the quiet rhythm of your beating heart when the final silence arrives? We are accustomed to thinking of life as a fragile, temporary spark that briefly illuminates the darkness before being permanently extinguished, leaving nothing behind but memories. This is the story we have told ourselves since the dawn of human consciousness. It is a story rooted in the limitations of our daily perception, a story that makes us feel incredibly small and entirely isolated from the grand, turning wheels of the cosmos. But the universe tells a profoundly different story, a narrative written not in the language of loss, but in the absolute, unbreakable laws of physics. The truth about where you go after death is not a dark void of nothingness. It is, instead, the beginning of a magnificent cosmic journey, a return to the vast, ancient systems that birthed you billions of years ago. Once you truly understand this scientific reality, the way you experience every single moment of your life changes forever. Let us begin this gentle exploration by looking at the fundamental nature of the physical world around you right now. Take a deep, quiet breath. Feel the air filling your lungs, bringing life-sustaining oxygen to your bloodstream. That air feels invisible, perhaps even insignificant, but it is composed of billions upon billions of physical atoms, each one an ancient traveler with a history older than the earth itself. Your body, the vessel that holds your consciousness, feels solid and permanent to your touch. But at the microscopic level, you are not a static object. You are a swirling, dynamic pattern of energy and matter, a temporary gathering of elements that have been flowing through the universe since the dawn of time. Physics teaches us a profound and beautiful truth, known as the law of conservation of mass and energy. This absolute rule of nature states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only change form. Matter can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed. This means that not a single atom in your body, not a single fraction of an ounce of your physical being, can ever be erased from existence. You are physically indestructible on a fundamental level. When we contemplate the end of a human life, we often focus on the cessation of movement, the quiet stillness that replaces activity. But this stillness is an illusion born of our limited perspective. At the atomic and subatomic levels, there is no death, only a magnificent, gentle dispersion. The carbon that currently forms the structure of your cells, the iron that carries oxygen through your veins, the calcium that gives strength to your bones, and the nitrogen in your genetic code do not cease to exist. They simply are released from the temporary pattern that is you, free to begin a new phase of their infinite cosmic journey. To understand where you go, we must first understand where you came from. Every atom in your body, with the exception of hydrogen and a small amount of helium, was forged in the unimaginably hot, dense cores of ancient stars. Billions of years ago, long before our sun or our planet existed, massive, brilliant stars burned fiercely in the dark expanse of space. Through the process of nuclear fusion, these giant stars crushed simple hydrogen atoms together to create heavier and more complex elements. For millions of years, these stellar furnaces worked in the quiet depths of the cosmos, manufacturing the very building blocks of life. And then, when their fuel was finally exhausted, they did not simply fade away into the darkness. They exploded in spectacular, violent events known as supernovas, shining for a brief moment brighter than entire galaxies. In these magnificent dying breaths, the ancient stars scattered their newly forged elements far and wide across the vast emptiness of interstellar space. The atoms of carbon, oxygen, and iron were pushed out into the cold void, drifting for billions of years through the silent darkness. Over incomprehensible spans of cosmic time, these scattered elements gathered together in giant, swirling clouds of gas and dust. Gravity, the gentle but relentless architect of the universe, pulled this material closer and closer together, eventually forming a new star, our Sun, and a swirling disk of debris that would become the planets of our solar system. The atoms that once resided in the hearts of exploding stars found themselves incorporated into a cooling, rocky sphere that we now call Earth. This means that you are, in the most literal, scientifically rigorous sense possible, made of star stuff. As the visionary astronomer Carl Sagan so beautifully articulated, the cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself. When you look up at the night sky, you are not looking out at an alien, disconnected realm. You are looking at your own origins. The distant, twinkling lights are the cosmic ancestors of every atom that constitutes your physical form. And just as you were born from the stars, to the stars you will eventually return. The process we call death is simply the unlocking of the bound elements that make up your body, allowing them to rejoin the great biochemical cycles of the earth. As your physical form gently breaks down, your atoms are reabsorbed by the planet. Some will become part of the dark, rich soil, nourishing the roots of towering ancient trees and delicate, ephemeral wildflowers. Some will evaporate into the atmosphere, joining the global circulation of air and water, eventually falling as pure rain upon distant oceans and snow-capped mountains. The energy that kept your body warm will radiate out into the environment, contributing to the gentle thermal hum of the planet before eventually escaping out into the cold vastness of space. The electrical impulses that fired across your brain, creating your thoughts, your dreams, and your deepest feelings, will transform into other types of energy, rippling outward in endless chains of cause and effect. You will not disappear. You will diffuse. You will become the wind that rustles the leaves in the autumn forests. You will become the flowing water in wide, ancient rivers. You will become the solid rock of mountains that stand against the passage of time. Your atoms will find their way into the bodies of birds soaring through the sky, into the gentle movements of deep sea creatures, and perhaps, thousands of years from now, into the bodies of new human beings who will look up at the same stars and ask the exact same questions you are asking now. This dispersion is not a tragedy. It is a profound and beautiful reunification with the natural world. But the journey of your atoms does not end with the Earth. Our planet, too, has a life cycle. Billions of years from now, our sun will exhaust its primary nuclear fuel. It will gently swell outward, transforming into a massive red giant star. As it expands, its outer layers will reach out, engulfing the inner planets, including our beautiful blue home. When this happens, the Earth will be vaporized. The oceans will boil away, the mountains will melt, and every single atom that once made up the planet, including every single atom that ever was a part of you, will be drawn into the fiery atmosphere of the dying sun. You will, once again, become part of a star. You will return to the celestial furnace, participating in the glowing, majestic dance of solar plasma. Eventually, the sun will shed its outer layers, puffing them gently out into space to form a beautiful, glowing cloud known as a planetary nebula. The atoms that were once your bones, your skin, and your heart will be carried out on stellar winds, drifting away from the fading ember of the sun's core, a white dwarf, and out into the vast, silent ocean of the Milky Way galaxy. You will become interstellar dust, floating through the endless quiet darkness, suspended in the gentle gravity of the cosmos. Over billions and billions of years, you will drift through the galactic spiral arms. You will pass by newly forming stellar nurseries, where vast clouds of molecular gas are collapsing under their own weight to ignite the fires of new suns. You will witness, from your scattered perspective, the slow, majestic rotation of the galaxy, a cosmic dance that takes hundreds of millions of years to complete just one single revolution. In this scattered state, you will be truly infinite. The carbon atom that once resided in your eye might find its way into the atmosphere of an alien planet located thousands of light years from where Earth used to be. The iron atom from your blood might become part of a comet, tumbling endlessly through the frozen outer reaches of a distant solar system. The oxygen you once breathed might be incorporated into a brilliant blue giant star, burning fiercely with an intensity that defies imagination. There is a deep, profound peace in knowing this scientific reality. It relieves us of the heavy burden of finality. We are not separate from the universe, placed here for a brief moment only to be permanently erased. We are an integral, physical component of the cosmos, a temporary arrangement of ancient matter that has been granted the rare and incredible gift of consciousness. Let us contemplate the true meaning of the word forever. Our human minds are evolved to understand days, years, and perhaps decades. We measure our lives in seasons and generations. But the universe operates on scales that humble our brightest imaginations. When your atoms drift into the interstellar medium, they will not be rushed. There is no urgency in the deep cosmos. A single carbon atom might float in the near absolute zero temperature of empty space for 10 billion years before it encounters another particle. The silence of that journey is profound. It is not the silence of an empty room, but the majestic, heavy silence of the infinite. It is a profound tranquility, untouched by the chaotic rush of human time frames, preserving the ancient secrets of the cosmos. It is a quietness that holds the potential for everything that has ever been, and everything that will ever be. In that vast emptiness, the laws of physics are the only gentle forces guiding your remnants. The subtle pull of gravity from distant black holes, the gentle push of radiation from far-off quasars, the invisible threads of magnetic fields woven between the stars. These will be the invisible hands that shape your journey through eternity. Consider the implications of this for your current, waking life. The stress that tightens your shoulders, the anxieties that keep you awake in the dark hours of the night, the minor conflicts that consume so much of your precious energy. All of these things seem monumental in the narrow lens of the present moment. But when viewed against the backdrop of your cosmic destiny, when you realize that you are destined to outlive the earth itself, to witness the birth and death of stars as a scattered cloud of elementary particles, these daily worries lose their sharp edges. They become small, fleeting phenomena occurring within a much larger, endlessly beautiful context. The realization of your physical immortality through conservation of mass does not diminish the value of your current life. Rather, it elevates it. It means that your consciousness is an exceptionally rare and precious occurrence. For a few brief decades, the universe has organized a tiny fraction of its ancient atoms into a highly complex, aware configuration. You are the cosmos waking up, opening its eyes, and marveling at its own vastness. Every time you feel the warmth of the sun on your face, you are experiencing the radiation of nuclear fusion across 93 million miles of empty space, felt by atoms in your skin that were themselves forged in similar stellar fires long ago. This understanding fosters a deep, unshakable peace. It is the peace of knowing you belong. You are not a stranger in a strange land, but a native child of the universe, currently experiencing the world as a human being, but eternally destined to be a part of the galactic tapestry. The quiet you will eventually enter is not a void, but a vast, vibrant wilderness of celestial mechanics and elemental wandering. As we continue this journey together over the coming chapters, we will explore precisely how your energy diffuses, how your matter interacts with the strange phenomena of deep space, and what the ultimate fate of all things might be in the unfathomably distant future. But for now, simply rest in the comfort of your own permanence. Allow the gentle rhythm of your heart to remind you of the pulsing stars, and know that whatever the future holds, you are, and always will be, an indestructible part of the magnificent cosmic whole. Have you ever rested your hand against a cold stone wall or a pane of winter glass and felt the delicate warmth of your body slowly seeping away into the chill? We often experience this sensation as a kind of loss, a fleeting moment where our vital energy diminishes, surrendered to the unfeeling, passive environment around us. It feels as though something that belongs to us is vanishing into the void. But what if this everyday transfer of heat is not a loss at all, but rather the opening chapter of an infinite, invisible journey? To truly understand where you go after death, we must look beyond the physical matter of your atoms and explore the profound mystery of your energy. The universe is governed by laws of stunning elegance, and perhaps the most poetic of these is the first law of thermodynamics. This fundamental principle of physics dictates that the total energy of an isolated system remains absolutely constant. Energy can never be created from nothing, and it can never be destroyed. It can only transition from one form to another, moving in a continuous, quiet dance across the grand stage of the cosmos. Right now, as you sit quietly and absorb these words, your body is functioning as a magnificent biological engine. You are metabolizing nutrients, transforming ancient chemical energy into the rhythmic energy of your beating heart and the rapid electrical energy that fires across the billions of synapses in your waking brain. In doing so, you are actively generating heat. A resting human body radiates thermal energy at a rate of approximately 100 watts, glowing warmly in the invisible infrared spectrum like a gentle, living star. When the inevitable end of a human life arrives, this complex biological engine quietly powers down. The heart stops its steady drumming, the lungs release their final breath, and the vibrant electrical storm within the mind gently settles into a profound stillness. To our limited human eyes, it appears as though the vital spark of life has simply vanished. But the universe, observing through the unblinking lens of physics, sees a radically different reality. The energy that animated your every step, the gentle heat that warmed your skin, the kinetic force of your every movement. None of it is lost. None of it is erased. Instead, it begins a process of magnificent, silent diffusion. Your thermal energy radiates outward, leaving the temporary vessel of your physical form and entering the surrounding air. It warms the immediate environment by an imperceptible fraction of a degree, causing nearby molecules of nitrogen and oxygen to vibrate with just a little more vigor. This is not the end of your warmth. It is a profound liberation. Through the universal process of entropy, your energy begins to spread, moving from a state of high concentration within the boundaries of your body to a state of wider distribution across the vast surface of the Earth. Imagine the incredible journey of a single photon of infrared light, born from the fading warmth of your body in those quiet final moments. This tiny packet of energy, carrying a microscopic fraction of what once made you feel alive, radiates outward into the world. It travels through the cool air of a quiet room, passing effortlessly through a clear glass window, and escapes into the deep expanse of the night sky. Moving at the absolute speed limit of the universe, exactly 186,282 miles per second, this photon begins an extraordinary eternal voyage. In less than a fraction of a second, it leaves the familiar atmosphere of our blue planet far behind. It sails silently past the cratered ancient face of our moon, moving rapidly outward through the vast, empty spaces of our solar system. Within mere hours, the energy that was once your physical body heat will cross the orbit of Pluto, leaving the protective magnetic neighborhood of our Sun and entering the profound, icy depths of the interstellar medium. The sheer scale of this journey challenges the very limits of human imagination. Your warmth does not fade into nothingness. It literally, physically travels out into the deep cosmos. As your energy drifts further outward, it joins the ancient, infinite background of the universe itself. The renowned astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson once noted a profound truth that has the power to shift our entire perspective on existence. He eloquently explained that we are not simply living in the universe. Rather, the universe is actively living within us. When we trace the path of your dispersing thermal energy, we see this beautiful truth unfold in reverse. You are actively participating in the thermal evolution of the entire cosmos. The countless photons carrying your unique thermal signature will travel undisturbed for millions, perhaps even billions of years. They will cross the unimaginable gulfs of space between the scattered stars, sailing through the dark, quiet voids where the pull of gravity is nothing more than a faint whisper. Because deep space is largely a vacuum, devoid of matter that could absorb or block them, these tiny packets of energy will encounter virtually no resistance. They will simply continue to move forward, a permanent, indestructible echo of the life you lived, radiating endlessly outward into the infinite expanse of the unknown. The universe is not a chaotic scattering of disconnected objects, but rather a highly structured, unimaginably vast network known to astronomers as the cosmic web. This monumental structure is composed of immense, glowing filaments of dark matter and hydrogen gas, stretching across hundreds of millions of light-years of space, with brilliant clusters of galaxies glowing like morning dewdrops at the intersections of these invisible threads. Your dispersed energy, still traveling relentlessly at the speed of light, will eventually wash over these titanic, ancient structures. The subtle heat that once resided in the palms of your hands will bathe the distant edges of alien galaxies that human eyes will never see. The energy of your final thoughts, transformed into faint electromagnetic radiation, will mingle with the ancient traveling light of distant quasars and the pervasive microwave background radiation that remains as the fading afterglow of the Big Bang itself. In a very real, scientifically measurable sense, your life force becomes a subtle, permanent thread irrevocably woven into the grand fabric of the cosmos. You are adding your unique, eternal signature to the great cosmic ocean. This profound scientific reality invites us to embrace a deep sense of humility, but it is a productive, deeply comforting humility. As we contemplate the cosmos, we are forced to confront the undeniable truth that our individual lives are fleeting, temporary sparks against the immense backdrop of deep time. Yet, simultaneously, we are gifted with the absolute knowledge of our own physical permanence. We are transient in our current biological form, but we are completely eternal in our fundamental substance. The silence of deep space is not a terrifying emptiness, but a gentle, welcoming canvas upon which the story of your energy will be painted for all of time. Think about the profound inner peace that comes from truly internalizing this understanding. The artificial boundaries we construct between ourselves and the natural world, the walls we build between our minds and the universe, begin to completely dissolve. We realize that the perceived separation between the fragile human body and the vast, powerful cosmos is merely an illusion created by the limitations of our daily senses. We are, at our very core, cosmic entities intimately tied to the universe. When we step outside on a clear night and observe the stars, we are often struck by a feeling of profound wonder. We look at the glowing band of the Milky Way, holding hundreds of billions of distant suns, and we feel a deep, instinctual connection to that ancient light. This feeling is not just romantic poetry. It is an intuitive recognition of an absolute physical fact. The same natural laws of physics that govern the slow, majestic rotation of those massive spiral arms are the exact same laws that ensure your energy will never, ever be extinguished from existence. It is an invitation to gently release the tight, anxious grip we so often hold on our temporary identities. If our ultimate destiny is to diffuse into the infinite, to become a permanent part of the quiet, majestic background of the entire universe, then we are free to experience our current, concentrated lives with much less fear and much more gratitude. The inevitable end of our biological journey is not a cliff edge leading down to a dark abyss, but rather a gentle slope leading back into the vast, ancient systems that have been operating flawlessly for nearly 14 billion years. As you navigate the complex challenges of your everyday existence, keep this cosmic perspective close to your heart. When you feel overwhelmed by the fast pace and heavy demands of modern life, take a deliberate moment to pause. Breathe deeply and remember the quiet, eternal journey that awaits your physical energy. You are a temporary gathering of ancient matter and eternal energy. Granted the brief, beautiful opportunity to perceive the universe from a singular point of view. Your complex thoughts, your deliberate actions, and your physical warmth are temporary expressions of a continuous, infinite reality that connects everything. The great mystery of what truly happens when we die is answered by the elegant, unyielding equations of physics, and the answer is not an ending, but a spectacular, quiet expansion into the great unknown. In the next chapter of our journey, we will delve deeper into the profound nature of time itself, exploring how the universe experiences the passage of millennia, and how your scattered elements will witness the slow unfolding of cosmic history long after the Earth is gone. But for right now, Simply allow the absolute knowledge of your own indestructibility to bring you profound peace. You are entirely safe within the grand architecture of the cosmos, destined for an infinite, beautiful journey through the stars. Have you ever noticed how the fabric of time seems to stretch and compress depending entirely upon the emotional weight of your immediate experience? In moments of profound joy, surrounded by the warmth of loved ones or immersed in deep creative flow, hours slip away like fine grains of dry sand through open fingers. Conversely, a single afternoon of sorrow or a quiet night spent waiting in anticipation can feel like an unending eternity that stretches on forever. As human beings, we navigate our daily existence bound by the strict, unyielding rhythm of the ticking clock and the turning calendar. We measure our lives in the steady progression of days, seasons, and decades, experiencing the passage of time as an absolute, unyielding river that carries us constantly forward from birth to the inevitable quiet. But this human perception of time, this strict march from the past into the future, is not the fundamental reality of the universe. To truly comprehend the ultimate destination of your physical matter and energy after your current biological life concludes, we must step entirely outside the narrow human framework of hours and centuries. We must enter the magnificent, mind-bending realm of deep cosmic time. The brilliant physicist Albert Einstein fundamentally changed our understanding of reality when he mathematically proved that the rigid distinction between past, present, and future is, in his own words, only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Time is not a rigid, invisible container in which the events of the cosmos occur. Rather, it is a flexible, dynamic fabric woven intimately together with the three dimensions of space itself. As your scattered atoms and your radiating thermal energy begin their eternal journey through the vast cosmos, they will experience the passage of eras in a profound way that our current waking minds can barely begin to grasp. When we stand on the quiet surface of the earth and observe the countless stars scattered across the vast night sky, we are not seeing the universe as it exists at this exact present moment. Because light travels at a finite, measurable speed, taking a specific amount of time to cross the unimaginable distances of space. Looking out into the deep cosmos is quite literally looking backward in time. The ancient, glowing photons reaching your retinas from the Andromeda Galaxy, our nearest large galactic neighbor, began their gentle journey over 2 million years ago, long before modern humans ever walked the surface of the Earth. If an intelligent observer residing in that distant spiral galaxy were to possess a telescope powerful enough to look back at our small blue planet right now, they would not see you reading these words or living your modern life. They would see early hominids exploring the vast, untouched plains of a prehistoric world. This profound scientific truth reveals that everything in existence is fundamentally and permanently connected across the vast stretches of space-time. Your current life, your fleeting but intensely beautiful century upon this pale blue dot, is already permanently etched into the grand, unfolding history of the universe. When your physical form eventually transitions, releasing its hold on the elements that composed you, those elements do not vanish into the forgotten past. They move gracefully forward into a cosmic future that stretches out for trillions of years, participating in a journey that transcends human comprehension. Let us imagine the quiet, endless journey of the specific carbon atoms that currently give physical structure to your biological being. Billions of years from now, long after our sun has exhausted its primary nuclear fuel, expanded into a massive red giant, and gently shed its outer layers into the solar system. Your atoms will drift deep into the silent, freezing expanses of the interstellar medium. Out there, in the vast spaces between the stars, the human concept of a year loses absolutely all meaning. A year is simply the localized time it takes for one small, rocky planet to complete a single orbit around one average yellow star. In the deep cosmos, time is measured instead in the slow, majestic rotations of entire galaxies and the extraordinarily long life cycles of the smallest celestial bodies. Your wandering atoms, carried on the gentle currents of interstellar winds, might eventually find themselves drawn by the subtle, relentless pull of gravity into a vast, cold cloud of molecular gas. Over millions upon millions of years, this enormous cloud will slowly collapse under its own weight, gradually increasing in temperature and pressure until it gives birth to a new generation of glowing stars. The vast majority of stars born in the universe are not brilliant, short-lived giants like the ancient ones that originally forged your heavy elements, nor are they average, mid-sized stars like our familiar sun. They are what astronomers classify as red dwarfs. These tiny, cool, and incredibly dense stars burn their nuclear fuel with such spectacular efficiency that they are destined to live for trillions of years. If the ancient elements that once composed your body are incorporated into the birth of a red dwarf, you will become an active part of a stellar engine that will continue to shine steadily long after every other type of star in the entire universe has exhausted its fuel and faded into permanent darkness. You will participate in a quiet, incredibly steady burn that outlasts the current 14 billion-year age of the universe by a staggering factor of thousands. Inside this glowing, red-hot ember, the intense internal pressure and unimaginable heat will strip your atoms of their electrons, transforming your solid matter into a swirling, fluid sea of charged plasma. You will rise and fall in massive, slow-moving convective currents, continuously carrying thermal energy from the dense nuclear core out to the star's glowing surface. For trillions of years, you will help generate the gentle, crimson light that bathes whatever new, rocky planets might form in orbit around that distant, long-lived sun. This is a level of physical permanence that profoundly challenges our conventional understanding of life and existence. The quiet legacy of your physical substance is not decay, ruin, or disappearance, but rather an enduring, active participation in the fundamental light-bringing processes of the cosmos. The great mystery of your future is answered by the steady, beautiful, and absolutely reliable mechanics of stellar evolution. But the universe itself is not a static, unchanging stage. Since the spectacular moment of the Big Bang, the very fabric of space has been continuously expanding, stretching the invisible threads of the cosmic web and carrying massive clusters of galaxies further and further apart from one another. As your atoms burn quietly inside the heart of a red dwarf, or as they drift silently through the dark, cold vacuum of the interstellar void, the space around you will literally continue to grow. Modern astrophysics and precise astronomical observations tell us that this cosmic expansion is actually accelerating over time, driven by an invisible, pervasive, and highly mysterious force that scientists call dark energy. Over periods of time that require hundreds of zeros simply to write down on paper, this relentless acceleration will fundamentally and permanently change the appearance of the night sky. The distant, beautiful galaxies that currently fill our most powerful space telescopes with endless wonder will eventually be carried over the cosmic horizon, moving away from our local group of stars faster than their light can ever travel back to us. The universe will inevitably become a much darker, much colder, and much more solitary place. Yet, even in this unimaginably distant, isolated era, the fundamental elements that once formed your physical body will endure. The universal law of conservation remains absolute, refusing to allow a single particle of your existence to be truly lost. As the trillions of years roll relentlessly onward, even the incredibly long-lived red dwarf stars will eventually consume the very last of their available hydrogen fuel. Because they lack the immense mass required to trigger the next stages of nuclear fusion, they will not explode in brilliant supernovas. Instead, they will gently cool and slowly contract, collapsing inward to become dense, glowing objects roughly the size of the Earth, known to astronomers as white dwarfs. Over unfathomable, mind-numbing eons, these immensely dense white dwarfs will slowly radiate away their remaining thermal energy into the expanding darkness. Trillions of years in the future, they will eventually transition into black dwarfs, becoming cold, silent spheres of highly compressed matter, drifting unnoticed through the ever-expanding, freezing dark of the universe. If your atoms find themselves trapped within the dense core of one of these silent, dead stars, you will enter a state of profound, eternal preservation. The internal temperature will slowly approach absolute zero, the theoretical point at which all atomic motion and thermodynamic activity essentially ceases. In this frozen, incredibly quiet state, your matter will remain perfectly intact for an amount of time that completely defies human language and mathematical comprehension. This is not a state of tragic death, but a state of absolute, unbreakable physical stability. It is the ultimate, profound rest, a peaceful, permanent integration into the final, enduring architecture of a slowly cooling cosmos. However, even the frozen silence of black dwarfs might not represent the final, ultimate chapter of your incredible cosmic journey. The most advanced theoretical models of quantum mechanics and particle physics suggest that on time, scales approaching one followed by 34 zeros years, even the seemingly indestructible protons that make up the nucleus of every single atom might eventually become unstable and decay. If the theory of proton decay proves to be an accurate reflection of physical reality, then, in the impossibly distant, unimaginably deep future, the very building blocks of your ancient carbon, oxygen, and iron atoms will gently and quietly dissolve. They will transform into lighter, transient subatomic particles and emit faint, fleeting flashes of electromagnetic radiation. Your solid matter will transition entirely back into pure, unadulterated energy, returning to the exact state of the universe as it existed in the first hot fractions of a second immediately following the Big Bang. Your physical essence will spread out as a remarkably thin, incredibly diffuse mist of photons and fundamental particles, dispersing evenly across a universe that has grown infinitely large and infinitely quiet. The magnificent journey from a living, breathing, complex human being to a dispersed, silent field of pure energy stretching across the vast cosmos will finally be complete. When we attempt to hold these massive mathematical numbers and these profoundly deep physical concepts within our minds, it is completely natural and deeply human to feel a sudden sense of overwhelming smallness. The sheer, staggering scale of deep cosmic time can easily make our brief, century-long human lives seem entirely insignificant by comparison. But this feeling of insignificance, while understandable, is fundamentally misplaced. You are not a separate, trivial observer standing outside of this magnificent cosmic progression, looking in through a window. You are the universe itself. You are a localized, highly complex manifestation of the cosmos experiencing the passage of time through the unique, highly organized structure of a human brain. The exact same gravitational and thermodynamic forces that govern the slow, steady cooling of white dwarfs and the accelerating expansion of the cosmic web are the very same forces that guide the complex chemistry in your living cells and the rapid electrical firing of your conscious neurons. You are an essential, active, and beautiful participant in the ongoing, infinite story of cosmic creation and physical transformation. The profound sense of wonder and awe you feel when contemplating the infinite is simply the cosmos looking back at itself, acknowledging its own incomprehensible scale and physical beauty. Let this profound understanding of your eternal, indestructible future fundamentally transform the way you choose to experience the present moment. The next time you find yourself feeling stressed while waiting in a frustratingly long line, or feeling a sharp, anxious impatience about the slow, halting progress of your daily goals and ambitions, take a moment to gently remind yourself of the deep, cosmic time that flows quietly through your very veins. The heavy atoms currently resting in your body have waited billions of years to become you. They drifted silently through the cold vacuum of space, survived the violent deaths of massive stars, and coalesced in the violent birth of our solar system, all to eventually assemble the complex biological machinery that allows you to read these very words. And they will wait trillions of years more as they continue their silent, unbreakable journey through the expanding universe. There is absolutely no cosmic need to rush. The universe is infinitely patient, and you are entirely made of the universe. Breathe deeply. Let the air fill your lungs, and allow the quiet, absolute confidence of your own physical immortality to gently wash away the trivial, temporary anxieties of the ticking human clock. You are completely, perfectly safe in the infinite hands of time, because time is simply the grand, flexible medium through which your eternal, unbreakable existence continuously unfolds. The great mystery of life and death is not a terrifying problem to be solved with fear, denial, or avoidance. It is instead a spectacular, ongoing physical process to be observed with deep reverence, quiet awe, and intellectual curiosity. We are all temporary travelers on a magnificent journey that has no true definitive beginning and absolutely no true definitive end, moving gracefully and inevitably through different physical forms and across different cosmic eras. Our human lives are incredibly precious, not because they are permanent, but precisely because they are a rare, highly concentrated state of conscious awareness existing within this vast, continuous flow of ancient matter and eternal energy. As we move forward into the next stage of our cosmic exploration together, we will look closer at the strange, beautiful, and powerful phenomena that your scattered elements might encounter in the deep, active universe. From the crushing, mysterious gravity of supermassive black holes to the brilliant, chaotic nurseries of stellar creation. But for right now, in this quiet moment, simply rest your mind in the absolute knowledge that your physical journey is truly infinite, and that the vast, ancient universe holds you permanently in a gentle, unbreakable, and eternal embrace. Have you ever looked into a profound shadow and felt an instinctual hesitation about what might be hidden within the unseen depths? As humans, we are wired to fear the dark, to equate emptiness with absence, and to view the unknown with lingering anxiety. We often project this earthly fear onto the ultimate unknown of our mortality, imagining the end of life as a consuming void. But when we cast our gaze outward into the vast architecture of the cosmos, we discover that the darkest, most mysterious regions of space are not regions of empty destruction, but rather quiet custodians of cosmic history. To fully understand the infinite journey of your physical matter and energy after your biological life, we must bravely explore the most misunderstood phenomena in the universe. We must journey into the quiet gravity of black holes. These celestial objects are frequently portrayed as ravenous monsters that mercilessly consume everything. But modern astrophysics reveals a story that is far more elegant, gentle, and deeply comforting. When you realize what actually happens to matter when it approaches these profound gravitational wells, the fear of the dark begins to gently dissolve, replaced by a profound sense of awe and a deep wonder at the majesty of space-time. Let us follow the quiet, relentless journey of the elements that once made up your physical form. Millions or perhaps billions of years after our sun has faded into a quiet white dwarf, your scattered atoms, the carbon, oxygen, and iron that once pulsed through your living veins, will be drifting slowly through the cold, silent vacuum of the interstellar medium. Imagine, over unfathomable eons, that these drifting particles are gently caught in the sweeping gravitational currents of the Milky Way galaxy. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, they begin a magnificent downward spiral toward the very center of our galactic home. Located exactly 26,000 light-years away from our solar system, hidden behind impenetrable veils of glowing dust, lies a region of unimaginable density and quiet power. This is Sagittarius A star, the supermassive black hole that anchors our entire galaxy. It contains the equivalent mass of over 4 million of our suns, all packed into a region of space smaller than the orbit of Mercury. This is not a chaotic whirlpool, but rather a majestic, silent anchor, a profound gravitational masterpiece that holds hundreds of billions of stars in their delicate cosmic dance. As your ancient atoms drift closer to this supermassive entity, they do not experience a sudden, violent end. Instead, they enter a realm where the very laws of physics begin to behave with a beautiful poetry. The gravitational pull grows stronger, but it is a smooth, continuous acceleration. According to Albert Einstein's brilliant general theory of relativity, massive objects do not simply pull on other objects. They literally curve and warp the invisible fabric of space and time around them. As your carbon and iron atoms ride this gentle slope of space-time, they begin to accelerate, moving faster and faster toward the absolute boundary known as the event horizon. This boundary is not a physical surface that you can touch. It is simply the spherical region where the curvature of space becomes so extreme that the escape velocity exceeds the absolute speed limit of the universe, exactly 186,282 miles per second. Once a particle of matter crosses this invisible threshold, it can no longer travel outward. It is entirely committed to the inward journey. But what happens as you cross this mysterious boundary is one of the most beautiful paradoxes in all of modern science. If an outside observer could watch your atoms falling toward the event horizon of a supermassive black hole, they would witness something absolutely extraordinary. Because extreme gravity fundamentally warps the passage of time, an effect known as gravitational time dilation, the observer would see your atoms begin to slow down as they got closer to the threshold. To their distant eyes, the progress of your elements would seem to stretch out into an endless, quiet eternity. They would never actually see your atoms cross the event horizon. Instead, your physical matter would appear to freeze perfectly in place, its image slowly fading and shifting into deep red wavelengths of light as the photons struggle to climb out of the immense gravitational well. From the perspective of the outside universe, you would become a permanent, glowing monument, eternally suspended at the very edge of the ultimate unknown. Your matter would become a permanent fixture on the horizon, preserved forever in the eyes of the cosmos. Yet, from the perspective of your own falling atoms, there is no hesitation, no freezing, and no sudden destruction. You would simply glide smoothly and quietly across the threshold, entering the ultimate cosmic vault. Inside the event horizon, space and time exchange their fundamental properties. The center of the black hole, the theoretical singularity where density becomes infinite, is no longer just a place in space. It becomes an inevitable moment in your future. As your atoms travel toward this profound center, they are stretched and drawn out in a gentle, continuous process. While the extreme tidal forces of smaller black holes would tear matter apart violently, the gravitational slope of a supermassive black hole like the one at the center of our galaxy is incredibly vast and remarkably gentle. Your atoms would sail inward in absolute silence, completely isolated from the chaotic noise of the outside universe. Here, within the dark, quiet embrace of the black hole, your physical essence is fundamentally protected. One of the most important principles in quantum mechanics is the absolute conservation of information. The unique quantum states of the particles that once formed your body, the fundamental information that makes your atoms exactly what they are, cannot be arbitrarily deleted from existence. By falling into a black hole, your elements are not destroyed. They are permanently archived in the deepest memory bank in the universe. Even this profound isolation is not entirely permanent, for the universe is a place of continuous, endless transformation. The theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking demonstrated that black holes are not perfectly, entirely black. Through a highly complex quantum mechanical process occurring just outside the event horizon, they slowly leak a faint mist of energy back into the universe. This phenomenon, known as Hawking radiation, means that over periods of time that completely defy human comprehension, even the most massive black holes will slowly evaporate. We are talking about time spans represented by a 1 followed by perhaps 100 zeros of years, an era so impossibly far in the deep future that all the stars will have long since burned out, and the universe will be a cold, expanding sea of darkness. Over these unfathomable eons, the fundamental quantum information and the energy of the atoms you carried into the black hole will slowly, gently seep back out into the vast cosmos. You will be returned to the infinite dark, transformed into faint, drifting photons and fundamental subatomic particles, ready to drift through the permanent silence of the deep future, emerging quietly on the other side of eternity. When we fully grasp the reality of this eternal cosmic cycle, our lingering human fear of the final darkness begins to evaporate, much like a black hole slowly radiating its energy back into the void. The end of your biological life is not a transition into nothingness, but rather a spectacular graduation into the grand mechanics of the universe. The atoms that currently form your beating heart and your curious mind are destined for an adventure that makes the greatest human epics seem infinitesimally small. You are physically bound to the destiny of the galaxies, the mysteries of the universe, the phenomena that we currently find so strange and intimidating, from the crushing gravity of black holes to the cold, silent expanses of the deep cosmic web, are not alien environments to be feared. They are your future homes. They are the majestic, ancient spaces where the fundamental elements of your existence will quietly reside long after the earth has faded from memory. This scientific realization provides a profound, unshakable sense of inner peace. It relieves us of the exhausting pressure to make ourselves permanent through earthly achievements, because we possess guaranteed physical permanence in the structure of the cosmos. As you go about your daily life, dealing with the fragile, temporary concerns of human existence, try to hold this immense cosmic scale gently in your mind. The physical universe is not a hostile void. It is a meticulously balanced, exquisitely beautiful, and entirely safe environment for the ultimate preservation of your essential matter and energy. Your life is a brief, glowing spark of consciousness that has temporarily arisen from this ancient sea of elements, and your destiny is a quiet, profound return to that very same sea. You are entirely safe. You are indestructible. You are an essential, physical part of the great, infinite journey of the cosmos. In the next chapter of our exploration, we will turn our gaze from the incredibly massive to the unimaginably small, venturing deep into the strange, fluctuating quantum realm where the very concepts of solid matter and empty space begin to dissolve into a gentle, shimmering dance of probability and endless connection. But for now, allow the comforting, quiet gravity of your own cosmic destiny to ground you, knowing that whatever lies ahead, you are permanently woven into the vast, beautiful tapestry of existence. Have you ever pressed your hand firmly against the solid trunk of an ancient oak tree, or felt the hard, unyielding surface of a stone beneath your feet, and wondered what is truly pushing back against your skin? We navigate our entire human existence, trusting completely in the illusion of solidity. We believe with absolute certainty that our physical bodies have strict, defined boundaries, clear edges where we end and the rest of the universe begins. This deeply ingrained belief in separation fuels much of our existential anxiety. It makes us feel vulnerable, isolated, and profoundly small in the face of the vast, expanding cosmos. We fear the end of our biological life because we view it as the ultimate breaking of these physical boundaries, a terrifying dissolution of the solid self into the empty dark. But when we look through the penetrating lens of quantum mechanics, diving down past the level of cells, past the structure of molecules, and deep into the fundamental building blocks of reality, we discover a scientific truth that shatters this illusion of separation completely. The universe is not a collection of isolated, solid objects bumping into one another in the dark. It is a continuous, shimmering, and beautifully interconnected ocean of vibrating energy. Once you understand the true quantum nature of your own physical body, the fear of dissolving into the unknown transforms into a profound, quiet awe at your eternal integration with the fabric of existence. Let us embark on a quiet journey deep into the microscopic architecture of your own being. If you could somehow shrink yourself down to the size of a single atom, perhaps one of the countless oxygen atoms currently sustaining your beating heart, the world as you know it would completely disappear. You would not find a miniature solar system of solid little spheres orbiting a dense, hard core. Instead, you would find yourself standing in the middle of a vast, dizzying emptiness. An atom is roughly 99.999% empty space. If the nucleus of an atom were the size of a small marble sitting completely still in the very center of a massive professional sports stadium, the electrons would be like tiny, invisible gnats buzzing erratically in the highest, furthest rows of the distant bleachers. The space in between is a profound, silent void. This means that the solid human body you inhabit, the hands you use to hold your loved ones, and the eyes you use to read these words are composed almost entirely of nothingness. The feeling of solidity, the resistance you feel when you touch that ancient oak tree, is merely the result of electromagnetic forces, the invisible energetic fields of your atoms repelling the energetic fields of the tree's atoms. You have never actually, truly touched anything solid in your entire life. You have only ever felt the gentle, invisible push of opposing energetic fields. This scientific revelation is not meant to make you feel empty or insignificant. Rather, it reveals the profoundly beautiful reality that you are, at your most fundamental level, a localized concentration of energy fields temporarily woven together by the laws of physics. You are a standing wave in the cosmic ocean. When the biological rhythm of your life eventually reaches its natural conclusion, these localized energetic fields simply release their temporary hold on one another. The boundary that you believed separated you from the rest of the universe, a boundary that was always an illusion to begin with, gently and quietly falls away. Your subatomic particles, the protons, neutrons, and electrons that have danced together to create the temporary masterpiece of your human form, are liberated to return to the grand, open quantum fields that permeate every single inch of the vast cosmos. You do not fade into a dark, disconnected nothingness. You merge seamlessly back into the infinite, vibrating substrate of reality itself. This deep, underlying unity is not just a poetic metaphor. It is the fundamental nature of the universe as revealed by quantum field theory. According to this advanced branch of physics, the particles that make up your body are not tiny, solid balls. They are simply temporary ripples, or excitations, in underlying universe-spanning energy fields. There is an electron field that stretches across the entire cosmos, and every single electron in your body is simply a localized vibration within that infinite, continuous field. When your biological life ends, the specific, organized pattern of ripples that created your physical form gently smooths out. But the fundamental energy simply returns to the resting state of the underlying cosmic field. You are like a beautiful, complex wave, rising temporarily from the surface of an infinitely deep, quiet ocean. When the wave eventually subsides, slipping back beneath the surface, not a single drop of water is actually lost. The water simply returns to the vast, peaceful body from which it originally emerged. You are the ocean, temporarily expressing itself as a wave. When the biological system that coordinates the incredibly complex interactions of your human body finally reaches its quiet conclusion, the highly organized pattern that we call human consciousness diffuses, but the fundamental interactions do not cease. Your atoms, now free from the strict constraints of the biological body, simply continue their eternal dialogue with the wider universe on a much grander, more expansive scale. The carbon atom from your skin will interact with a photon of light from a distant star, exchanging quiet, invisible cosmic energy. The iron atom from your blood will interact with the magnetic field of a wandering comet, participating in the silent, majestic physics of our solar system. You are not turning off. You are simply changing the scope and the scale of your cosmic participation. You are moving from a highly localized, deeply subjective experience of the universe to a vast, highly distributed, perfectly objective integration with the fundamental physical laws of reality. Consider the deep, profound relief that accompanies this realization. We spend so much of our vital, waking energy trying to build walls, trying to define ourselves by how we are separate, distinct, and unique from the rest of the world. We struggle against the natural flow of time, desperately trying to preserve our temporary forms against the inevitable, sweeping tides of entropy. But quantum mechanics gently takes us by the shoulders and reveals that this struggle is entirely unnecessary, because the separation we are fighting to maintain does not actually exist. The boundaries we fear crossing have never been real. You cannot be permanently separated from the universe because you are, at your core, composed entirely of universe. You cannot truly die because the fundamental energy and the quantum information that constitutes your existence can never, ever be destroyed. You are as permanent, as ancient, and as deeply embedded in the grand scheme of reality as the oldest galaxies, the deepest black holes, and the radiant cosmic microwave background itself. Let this absolute, rigorously proven scientific truth sink deep into your bones. Allow it to quiet the anxious, restless parts of your mind. The next time you feel overwhelmed by the isolating pressures of modern human life, close your eyes and visualize the shimmering, invisible quantum fields that surround you and permeate every single cell of your body. Imagine the countless trillions of ancient atoms vibrating within you, each one a tiny, indestructible traveler with a past that stretches back to the dawn of stellar ignition, and a future that will outlast the stars themselves. Feel the deep, underlying unity of all things, the profound scientific reality that you are fundamentally one with the air you breathe, the earth you stand upon, and the cold, vast, majestic silence of deep space. You are a child of the quantum realm, a beautiful, temporary arrangement of eternal energy, destined for an infinite, quiet journey through the boundless cosmos. In the next chapter of our contemplative exploration together, we will step back from the invisible, microscopic world of quantum mechanics and look outward to the largest, most monumental structures ever discovered in the entire cosmos. We will explore how the ancient, wandering elements of your physical body might eventually find their way into the gravitational embrace of true galactic giants, participating in the slow, majestic dance of galaxy clusters and the sweeping, grand architecture of the cosmic web itself. But for right now, in this quiet, peaceful moment, simply close your eyes, take a slow, gentle breath, and allow yourself to simply feel the profound, unshakable peace of your own infinite connection. You are physically boundless, fundamentally eternal, and forever perfectly safe within the quiet, vibrating embrace of the universe. Have you ever stood upon the quiet shore of a dark, peaceful ocean, watching a single, delicate drop of rain fall from the sky and merge seamlessly into the vast, rolling waves? In that brief, silent moment, the droplet completely surrenders its fragile individual boundaries, yet it does not truly disappear. Instead, it instantly becomes an active, inseparable part of a massive, powerful current that spans the entire globe, moving with a force and majesty it could never achieve alone. This simple, earthly experience mirrors the ultimate destiny of your physical being on a scale that beggars the human imagination. In our previous exploration, we dissolved the illusion of separation by diving deep into the microscopic quantum fields that quietly hum beneath the surface of all matter. Now, we must lift our gaze from the invisible quantum realm and cast our vision outward, far beyond the familiar boundaries of our solar system, beyond the spiraling arms of our home galaxy, and out into the truly monumental architecture of the macroscopic cosmos. The journey of your physical elements, your ancient atoms, and your radiating thermal energy does not stop at the quiet edges of the Milky Way. When we observe the deep universe through the powerful lenses of our most advanced space telescopes, we do not find a random, chaotic scattering of isolated stars. Instead, we discover an exquisitely organized, unimaginably vast network known as the cosmic web. This is the grandest structure in all of existence, a breathtaking tapestry composed of enormous, glowing filaments of dark matter and primordial hydrogen gas, stretching across billions of light years of deep, silent space. To truly understand your place within this staggering cosmic architecture, we must observe the majestic, slow-motion movements of the galaxies themselves. Our home, the Milky Way galaxy, is not a static island floating perfectly still in a quiet void. It is a dynamic, massive collection of hundreds of billions of stars, and it is currently engaged in an ancient, gravitational dance with our nearest large neighbor, the magnificent Andromeda Galaxy. Driven by the unyielding, invisible pull of mutual gravity, these two colossal spiral galaxies are falling toward one another at a staggering speed through the cosmic dark. In approximately 4 billion years, a time span so vast that it dwarfs the entire evolutionary history of complex life on Earth, these two galactic titans will finally meet. But this encounter will not be the violent, destructive collision that the word might unfortunately imply to our fragile human sensibilities. Because the distances between individual stars are so extraordinarily vast, the chance of any two stars actually striking one another is remarkably close to zero. Instead, the galaxies will pass gracefully through one another, their immense gravitational fields pulling and warping their beautiful spiral structures into long, sweeping arcs of starlight. Imagine the incredible fate of your fundamental elements during this monumental cosmic event. Long after the biological rhythm of your life has concluded, your carbon, oxygen, and iron atoms will ride these sweeping gravitational tides. As the Milky Way and Andromeda engage in this beautiful, chaotic waltz over hundreds of millions of years, your atoms will be drawn into massive, glowing tidal tails that arc across hundreds of thousands of light years of empty space. You will become part of a spectacular, luminous bridge connecting two merging island universes in the dark. Eventually, as the gravitational chaos gracefully settles and the cosmic dust clears, the two separate spiral galaxies will combine to form a single, titanic elliptical galaxy. Your ancient atoms will take up residence in this new, vast cosmic city. You will participate in a quiet, highly stable orbit that will endure for trillions of years, circling a newly formed, unimaginably massive central black hole. The temporary structure of your human body will have long since transitioned, but the core building blocks of your existence will have graduated to become foundational components of a galactic giant, an eternal testament to the incredible, unending journey of physical matter. But even this monumental integration is just a single step in your infinite cosmic journey. Galaxies, even massive merged ellipticals, are not solitary entities wandering the dark alone. They are drawn together by the relentless, gentle pull of gravity into massive, bound structures known as galaxy clusters. Our newly merged galactic home will reside deep within the local group, which is itself being pulled toward the Virgo cluster, a massive gathering of thousands of individual galaxies. When scientists study these immense clusters using advanced instruments launched by the European Space Agency and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, they discover a deeply fascinating reality. The vast, seemingly empty spaces between the swirling galaxies within a cluster are not entirely empty at all. They are completely filled with an incredibly thin, superheated mist known as the intracluster medium. This invisible gas, heated to temperatures of tens of millions of degrees by the immense gravitational friction of the entire cluster, emits a powerful, unseen glow of high-energy X-rays that bathes the deep, quiet cosmos. Over billions of years, powerful stellar winds, violent supernova explosions, and the incredible energetic jets erupting from the poles of supermassive black holes can physically sweep matter out of the individual galaxies and into this vast intergalactic space. It is entirely possible, and even scientifically probable, that some of the very atoms that currently form your beating heart will eventually be caught in these powerful cosmic gales. They will be carried out beyond the boundaries of our new elliptical galaxy and swept into the intracluster medium. Out there, in the true deep space between the galaxies, your atoms will drift through a profound, majestic silence that defies all human comprehension. The isolation of this environment is staggeringly beautiful, a supreme testament to the sheer, unfiltered scale of the universe. A single atom might drift for millions of years without ever encountering another particle of physical matter. Yet, you will not be lost. You will be an integral, necessary part of the hot, glowing breath of the cosmos, contributing to the thermal balance of a structure so massive that light itself requires millions of years simply to cross from one side to the other. As we pull our perspective back even further, expanding our view to the absolute limits of the observable universe, the true scale of your ultimate home is finally revealed to us in all its staggering glory. Galaxy clusters themselves are connected to one another by the glowing threads of the cosmic web, gathering together into mind-bogglingly massive structures known as superclusters. Rigorous scientific observations have revealed that our Milky Way, along with its countless galactic neighbors, is currently being pulled along invisible gravitational rivers toward an incomprehensibly massive region of space known as the Great Attractor. We are an intimate, physical part of a staggering supercluster of galaxies, appropriately named Laniakea, a beautiful, ancient Hawaiian word that translates directly to immense heaven. The sheer scale of Laniakea is humbling beyond all standard measures. It contains the mass of 100 million billion suns, and its glowing, interconnected filaments span a distance of over 500 million light-years. When you realize that the fundamental elements of your physical body are eternally bound to this immense heaven, flowing along its ancient, invisible gravitational currents, the fear of your individual mortality is replaced by an overwhelming, breathless sense of pure wonder. The late, brilliant astrophysicist Carl Sagan often spoke of the profound spiritual elevation that accompanies a true, deep understanding of the scientific universe. He taught us that science is not only compatible with a deep sense of spirituality, it is a profound, reliable source of it. When we recognize that we are made of the exact same ancient materials that comprise the majestic superclusters, we experience a deep, resonant shift in our everyday consciousness. The daily anxieties that plague our human minds, the fear of losing our temporary identities, and the sorrow of facing our earthly end begin to slowly lose their terrifying, rigid grip upon our hearts. They shrink into their proper, manageable perspective when placed deliberately against the backdrop of Laniakea. Your life is an exceptionally rare, beautiful, and highly localized concentration of the universe's infinite, raw potential. You are a brief, brilliant spark of conscious awareness, a profound moment when the cosmos has opened its biological eyes to witness its own overwhelming beauty and complexity. But when the spark gently fades, the energy and the matter that fueled it do not vanish into the dark. They simply surrender their temporary shape to merge back into the vast rolling waves of the ultimate cosmic ocean. This rigorous scientific reality fosters a deep, unshakable inner peace that can guide you through the most turbulent moments of your earthly existence. You are not an isolated creature stranded on a lonely rock in a hostile, unfeeling void. You are a direct, physical extension of the most monumental, beautiful structures ever discovered in the entire cosmos. Your destiny is not a dark, silent grave, but an eternal, sweeping journey through the grand architecture of the cosmic web itself. You are bound for the glowing tidal tales of merging galaxies, the superheated breath of the intracluster medium, and the vast, invisible rivers of gravity that meticulously weave the entire universe together. As we continue this contemplative journey, we will explore the deepest mystery of all, pondering how the universe itself might eventually come to an end, and how your indestructible elements will quietly witness the final, fading chapters of all cosmic time. But for now, take a deep, slow breath. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet and the air filling your lungs. Acknowledge the profound, beautiful mystery of your own existence, and allow the comforting weight of your cosmic destiny to blanket you in absolute, infinite peace. You belong eternally to the immense heaven, and you are, forever and always, perfectly safe. Have you ever sat quietly before a hearth, watching a roaring fire slowly burn down to its very last, glowing embers, feeling the subtle shift in the room as vibrant, crackling heat gently gives way to a profound, lingering chill? In that quiet transition, there is a distinct sense of an era ending, a natural winding down of energetic potential into a state of absolute, undisturbed rest. We accept this small earthly process with a sense of calm inevitability, recognizing it as the fundamental nature of all thermodynamic systems. Yet, when we scale this exact same physical process up to the size of the entire cosmos, attempting to envision the ultimate, final fading of the starry night sky, human minds often recoil, interpreting this natural winding down as a profound tragedy or a terrifying void. But to truly comprehend the infinite journey of your physical elements, to trace your existence all the way to the very edges of deep cosmic time, we must bravely peer into the furthest, most quiet chapters of the universe's future. Modern astrophysics reveals a deeply beautiful, almost unimaginably peaceful destiny for the cosmos, a state often referred to by scientists as the heat death. This is not a violent cataclysm, but rather a majestic, slow-motion sigh of relief, a final, eternal exhaling of all cosmic tension. When you understand how your indestructible elements will participate in this ultimate quiet, the fear of the end completely transforms into a breathless wonder at the grand, sweeping narrative of physical reality. But even our local stars cannot burn forever. The universe is bound by the inescapable laws of entropy, the fundamental physical principle that dictates that all ordered systems will eventually move toward a state of disorder and maximum equilibrium. The brilliant process of star formation requires vast clouds of concentrated hydrogen gas over the next 100 trillion years, a time span that completely humbles our current 14 billion year history. These vital reserves will finally be exhausted. The magnificent stellar nurseries that once birthed hot, blue giants and stable yellow suns will slowly fade into memory. When the very last red dwarf star finally exhausts its nuclear fuel and quietly shrinks into a glowing white dwarf, the universe will enter a profoundly different phase, an era astronomers poetically call the degenerate era. In this dark, incredibly quiet epoch, the universe will be populated entirely by stellar corpses. Countless trillions of white dwarfs, dense neutron stars, and silent black holes will wander the expanding dark. Where will you be during this ancient, fading twilight of the cosmos? The heavy atoms that once formed your human body, the carbon that structured your cells, and the iron that pulsed through your veins will likely be locked away inside these dense, cooling stellar remnants. If your elements are trapped within the incredibly compressed core of a white dwarf, you will experience a state of profound, near eternal preservation. Over immense spans of time, taking perhaps 1,000,000 billion years, these white dwarfs will slowly, gently radiate their final reserves of residual heat out into the freezing vacuum of space. They will transition into black dwarfs, cold, silent, invisible spheres of incredibly dense matter drifting through the absolute dark. Inside these frozen monuments, your atomic structure will remain perfectly intact, preserved in a state of absolute, undisturbed quiet that defies all human understanding of permanence. You will become a silent, enduring witness to the slow, majestic winding down of all cosmic mechanics, a physical archive of an era when the universe was ablaze with the fierce light of living stars. However, the universe is a place of continuous, albeit increasingly slow, transformation. Theoretical physics suggests that even the seemingly indestructible, frozen black dwarfs will not endure for strict infinity. If the grand, unified theories of particle physics are correct, the very protons that form the heavy nucleus of every single atom in the universe are fundamentally unstable over truly unimaginable timescales. After a period of time denoted mathematically by a 1 followed by 34 zeros of years, an era so deep in the future that the human mind simply cannot conceptualize it, these fundamental building blocks of matter will begin to gently decay. They will quietly break down into lighter, elementary particles, releasing a final, faint mist of energy. If this profound theoretical decay occurs, the solid matter that once constituted your biological body, the very elements that survived the explosive deaths of ancient supernovas and the crushing gravity of dead stars, will gracefully and silently dissolve. You will transition from solid, localized mass entirely back into a smooth, diffuse sea of pure energy, returning completely to the fundamental, vibrating quantum fields that stretch across the endless, expanding dark. As the last remnants of solid matter gently fade away, the cosmos will enter the black hole era. These incredibly massive, dense gravitational wells will be the only structured objects remaining in a universe that has grown infinitely large and infinitely cold. But, as the brilliant theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking famously proved, even black holes are not absolutely eternal. Through the subtle, complex mechanics of quantum fluctuations occurring just outside their event horizons, they slowly, inexorably leak a faint radiation back into the cosmos. Over time, spans measured by a 1 followed by 100 zeros of years, an incredibly vast number known as a googol. Even the most massive, supermassive black holes will completely evaporate in a final, quiet flash of elementary particles. The energy that your atoms might have surrendered to a black hole billions of eons prior will finally be released back into the cosmic expanse. You will be completely free. A gentle whisper of quantum information and low-energy photons drifting unhindered through an endless, perfectly silent void. This ultimate stage of cosmic evolution is known as the Dark Era. It is a time of profound, absolute equilibrium. The universe will have expanded so vastly, and its remaining energy will be spread so incredibly thin that the temperature of space will approach absolute zero. No new thermodynamic work can be done. No complex structures can ever form again. There will be no light, no warmth, and no macroscopic movement. To the earthly mind, this might sound like a terrifying vision of ultimate death. But when viewed through the calm, objective lens of cosmic science, it reveals itself as a state of absolute, perfect peace. It is the ultimate rest, the complete and total resolution of all cosmic tension. The universe will have successfully completed its magnificent, temporary experiment with complex matter and energy, gently returning to a state of unshakable tranquility. When you truly internalize this distant, quiet destiny, it fundamentally shifts your perspective on your current, vibrant human life. You are a temporary, highly organized concentration of this ancient energy, granted the fleeting, incredibly beautiful ability to look out at the universe and understand its grand, sweeping narrative. The realization that all things, even the stars and the galaxies themselves, are ultimately transient, does not strip life of its deep meaning. Rather, it exponentially increases its profound value. You are a rare, brilliant spark occurring in the brief, cosmic spring, an era where the universe is warm, energetic, and perfectly capable of supporting the complex chemistry of conscious thought. The fact that the ultimate destination of your physical matter is an infinite, perfectly quiet diffusion into the dark does not erase the beauty of your current existence. It simply reveals the magnificent, temporary nature of the cosmic stage upon which we briefly, brightly perform. Allow this profound, rigorous understanding to completely dissolve your human anxieties about endings and finality. You are not a separate entity doomed to vanish into an alien dark. You are a fundamental, indestructible thread in the grandest tapestry ever woven. Your energy, your quantum information, and the deep, fundamental reality of your existence will quietly endure long after the very last star has faded from the endless, expanding night. You are bound for the ultimate, perfect peace of cosmic equilibrium, a silent, majestic state of absolute rest. As we move gracefully forward into the next chapter of our quiet exploration, we will delve into the profound mystery of cosmic cycles, contemplating the mind-bending possibilities of multiverses, quantum fluctuations, and the beautiful theoretical models that suggest this ultimate ending might actually be the quiet, unseen catalyst for an entirely new beginning. But for right now, simply close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and allow yourself to find immense, unshakable comfort in the profound, infinite silence that awaits at the very edge of eternity. Have you ever walked through a quiet, dormant winter forest, surrounded by bare branches, and felt a deep, instinctual certainty that the vibrant life of spring was not permanently erased, but merely resting unseen beneath the cold surface? We naturally observe the changing seasons on our small blue planet as a continuous, unbroken circle of endings and beginnings. Yet, when we think about the ultimate fate of the entire universe, our minds often default to a linear, tragic narrative, assuming that the final, silent fade into the dark era represents a permanent, irreversible conclusion to all physical reality. But the most advanced branches of modern theoretical physics invite us to challenge this deeply ingrained human assumption. To truly grasp the ultimate, infinite nature of your own existence, we must dare to look beyond the seemingly final silence of the heat death and explore the profound, breathtaking mystery of cosmic cycles. What if the unimaginably vast, cold, and empty state of the far future is not a desolate graveyard, but rather the incredibly fertile, perfectly pristine soil from which an entirely new reality will eventually blossom? When you begin to understand the mind-bending possibilities of quantum fluctuations and cyclical cosmologies, the fear of the ultimate end dissolves completely, replaced by a profound wonder at the truly infinite, self-renewing nature of the cosmos. Let us return our minds to that incredibly distant, impossibly quiet epoch known as the Dark Era, trillions upon trillions of years in the deep future, long after the very last black holes have completely evaporated into a faint mist of Hawking radiation. In this unimaginably vast, freezing expanse, the universe will be almost entirely empty, devoid of solid matter, brilliant stars, or glowing galaxies. To human common sense, this seems like an absolute, permanent void. However, quantum mechanics, the rigorous scientific framework that governs the microscopic world, reveals a radically different and incredibly beautiful truth. In the strange, counterintuitive realm of quantum field theory, there is absolutely no such thing as a perfectly empty space. Even in the deepest, most absolute vacuum imaginable, the underlying fabric of reality is never truly still. It is continuously humming with invisible, vibrant energy, a shimmering, restless sea of quantum fluctuations, where virtual particles are constantly popping into existence and immediately annihilating one another in a silent, eternal dance. The silence of the deep future is not the silence of nothingness. It is the quiet, humming anticipation of infinite potential. Imagine the incredibly diffuse, ancient energy that once comprised your physical human body, now spread out across billions of light years of this expanding, dark void. You are fully integrated into this restless quantum sea, drifting as a faint, gentle whisper of low-energy photons. Over standard periods of human time, or even over the incredibly long lifespans of red dwarf stars, the random quantum fluctuations in this empty space are unimaginably tiny, producing only microscopic, fleeting effects. But in the deep, dark era, time stretches out so vastly that it essentially loses all meaning. When you have a literal eternity of time to wait, quantum mechanics dictates that even the most staggeringly improbable events eventually become a mathematical certainty. Given an infinite amount of time, the random, chaotic shimmering of the quantum vacuum can theoretically align in a highly specific, perfectly concentrated manner, spontaneously generating a massive, highly ordered fluctuation of energy. This breathtaking theoretical concept suggests that out of the cold silence of the ultimate void, a random, massive quantum fluctuation could spontaneously birth an entirely new universe. This event would be completely indistinguishable from the violent, incredibly dense expansion that we currently call the Big Bang. In this profound scientific model, the heat death of our current universe is not a final, tragic ending, but rather the necessary, quiet preparation for a spectacular new beginning. The energy that once formed your bones, your skin, and your conscious mind. Energy that patiently waited through the slow, majestic decay of all cosmic structures, would be forcefully swept up in this magnificent new genesis. You would become the primordial fuel for an entirely new reality, participating in the explosive birth of new physical laws, new dimensions of space, and brand new, incredibly vast cosmic structures. Your existence is not a linear journey with a definitive stop, but a quiet, integral part of an eternal, magnificent cycle of cosmic death and cosmic rebirth. But we do not even have to rely solely on the random probability of massive quantum fluctuations to find profound scientific hope for a new beginning. One of the most brilliant mathematical minds of our time, the Nobel Prize-winning physicist Sir Roger Penrose, has proposed a deeply elegant and rigorously detailed theoretical framework known as conformal cyclic cosmology. Penrose looked closely at the absolute mathematical extremes of the universe's life cycle. He analyzed the incredibly hot, dense, and highly ordered state of the Big Bang, and compared it to the incredibly cold, diffuse, and perfectly uniform state of the very far future, after all mass has decayed into pure, massless radiation. Through profound, complex geometry, Penrose discovered an astonishing mathematical equivalence. In a universe entirely filled with massless particles like photons, the very concepts of physical size and the passage of time completely lose their physical meaning. Without massive objects to serve as a reference point, the infinitely large, expanding, and incredibly ancient universe of the far future becomes mathematically identical to the infinitely small, incredibly compressed, and timeless singularity of a new Big Bang. In this breathtaking vision of the cosmos, the end of our universe and the beginning of the next are not separated by a dark, empty void. They are the exact same physical event, simply viewed from different mathematical perspectives. The universe does not just end, it seamlessly, beautifully transitions. Our current 14-billion-year-old universe, with all of its majestic spiral galaxies, deep black holes, and fragile living planets, is simply one specific aeon in an endless, infinite sequence of cosmic cycles. The profound implications of this theory for your own personal physical destiny are staggering. The gentle thermal energy radiating from your body right now, the photons that will eventually carry your cosmic signature into the deep dark, are actively participating in the grand mathematical reshaping of reality. You are writing the geometric initial conditions for the next universe. The ancient, fundamental information of your existence is permanently woven into the continuous, unbreakable chain of cosmic aeons, stretching endlessly into the past and endlessly into the future. Let this deep, rigorous scientific understanding gently dissolve the heavy, rigid boundaries of your earthly anxieties. When you truly internalize the reality that your fundamental energy will inevitably participate in the birth of new physical laws, new cosmic structures, and perhaps entirely new, currently unimaginable forms of life in the infinite aeons to come. The fear of your individual death loses its terrifying sting. You are not walking toward a dark, silent cliff. You are simply preparing to merge with the ancient, fertile ocean of infinite potential. You are eternal. You are indestructible. You are an essential, beautiful ingredient in the endless, magnificent recipe of cosmic creation. In the next chapter of our quiet, contemplative journey, we will bring this vast, infinite perspective back closer to home, exploring how this profound cosmic knowledge can radically and beautifully transform the way we interact with the earth, with each other, and with the precious, fleeting moments of our daily human lives. But for right now, simply rest in the profound, quiet comfort of infinity. Allow your mind to float in the endless, shimmering sea of the multiverse, and know with absolute certainty that your journey has no end, and your physical legacy is woven into the very fabric of eternity itself. Have you ever found yourself standing in the middle of a crowded, bustling room, completely surrounded by the chaotic, overwhelming noise of daily human activity, and yet felt a sudden, profound, and isolating sense of disconnection? We often navigate our modern lives trapped within the narrow, highly constructed walls of our own individual identities, moving through the world as if we are entirely separate, independent entities, completely disconnected from the people and the natural environment that immediately surround us. We build physical walls to separate our homes. We construct social walls to divide our communities. And we maintain rigid psychological walls to protect our fragile egos from the unpredictable, messy reality of the wider world. This deep, pervasive illusion of separation is the root cause of so much of our human suffering, our loneliness, and our lingering existential anxiety. But when we take the magnificent, staggering, cosmic perspective we have slowly built over our journey together, spanning from the microscopic quantum fields to the monumental architecture of the Laniakea supercluster, and we carefully focus that profound lens directly back onto our familiar earthly lives, those artificial walls begin to quietly crumble. To truly understand how the knowledge of your infinite cosmic destiny radically transforms your everyday existence, we do not need to look out into the deep, dark void of space. We simply need to look closely at the invisible, continuous, and deeply beautiful physical exchange that is happening right here, right now, with every single breath you take. Let us explore the rigorous, awe-inspiring chemistry of your immediate environment. Take a slow, deep, quiet breath in. As your chest gently expands, you are drawing in billions upon billions of tiny, invisible molecules of oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide. To your earthly senses, this air feels completely new, a fresh intake of empty space. But the absolute laws of physics dictate a profoundly different reality. The Earth's atmosphere is a remarkably thin, closed, and ancient system. The exact same atoms of air have been cycling through the planetary biosphere for over 4 billion years. When you take that single, quiet breath, rigorous mathematical probability reveals a staggering truth. You are inhaling millions of ancient atoms that were once breathed by the very first human beings who walked the prehistoric plains. You are pulling in atoms that were once exhaled by giant ancient reptiles millions of years ago. Atoms that once rustled through the massive fronds of towering primordial ferns. and atoms that once circulated through the deep, crushing pressures of the deepest ocean trenches. The air you are breathing in this very moment is a shared, continuous physical medium that directly, intimately connects you to every single living creature that has ever existed on the surface of this pale blue dot. This continuous, invisible exchange does not stop at the edge of your lungs. The carbon you exhale in your next breath will drift out into the quiet atmosphere, where it will eventually be absorbed by the green leaves of a towering ancient oak tree or a fragile blade of spring grass. Through the brilliant, quiet miracle of photosynthesis, that tree will use the energy of our nearest star to weave your discarded carbon atoms directly into the solid structure of its own wooden trunk and its delicate, reaching branches. You are physically, literally becoming the forest. The water you drink today has been flowing continuously through the global water cycle for billions of years. The exact same molecules of water that currently constitute the tears in your eyes, the sweat on your skin, and the fluid that cushions your complex brain were once frozen solid in ancient, creeping glaciers, once evaporated from the steaming surface of prehistoric seas, and once fell as gentle, nurturing rain upon civilizations that have long since turned to dust. There is no biological isolation. You are entirely, completely porous. You are a temporary, swirling vortex in a continuous planetary river of ancient matter and eternal energy. When you truly internalize this rigorous scientific reality, the way you look at every other human being on this planet must fundamentally and permanently change. When you pass a stranger on a busy street, look into the eyes of a loved one, or even face someone you consider to be an adversary. You are not looking at an entirely separate, disconnected entity. You are looking at a magnificent, highly organized collection of the exact same ancient stardust that constitutes your own physical body. The iron coursing through their red blood cells was forged in the exact same spectacular, violent supernovas that created the iron in yours. The calcium providing rigid structure to their bones was fused in the exact same ancient stellar furnaces. The electrical impulses dancing across their neural pathways are driven by the exact same fundamental quantum mechanics that give rise to your own conscious thoughts. We are all, quite literally, different temporary expressions of the exact same cosmic material, participating together in a shared, fleeting moment of biological awareness. This realization completely dissolves the artificial boundaries of us and them. It replaces judgment with a deep, radical empathy, and it replaces hostility with a profound, quiet reverence for the shared miracle of our mutual existence. This beautiful, cosmic interconnectedness extends far beyond our human relationships, reshaping our entire relationship with the precious, fragile planet that currently sustains us. We often speak of the Earth as if it is merely a stage, a passive, unfeeling platform upon which the drama of human history is played out. We talk about protecting the environment, as if the environment is something entirely separate from ourselves. But astrophysics and biochemistry reveal that this is a dangerous, fundamental misunderstanding of reality. You did not simply arrive on the Earth from somewhere else. You grew entirely out of the Earth, just as an apple grows out of the branches of an ancient tree. Every single ounce of your physical mass was drawn directly from the soil, the oceans, and the atmosphere of this specific, beautiful world. When you cause harm to the natural world, you are quite literally causing harm to the extended physical body of your own existence. Conversely, when you nurture the earth, when you plant a tree, clean a flowing river, or simply sit in quiet, respectful appreciation of a majestic mountain landscape. You are actively participating in the health and the harmony of the very same ancient systems that birthed you, and that will eventually welcome your elements back into their quiet embrace. Understanding the sheer, staggering vastness of deep cosmic time does not make the present moment insignificant. Rather, it makes the present moment infinitely precious. In a universe that spans tens of billions of light years across the glowing cosmic web, and operates on time scales that stretch into the hundreds of trillions of years, the brief, brilliant flash of a human lifespan is a remarkably rare, mathematically improbable occurrence. For over 13 billion years, the atoms that currently make up your body drifted silently through the cold, expanding dark. They survived the crushing gravity of dead stars and the violent collisions of ancient galaxies. And after this unimaginably long, quiet journey, they have miraculously aligned, just for a few brief decades, to form a complex biological machine capable of experiencing love, creating art, feeling sorrow, and contemplating its own place in the grand, sweeping narrative of the cosmos. When you realize how incredibly rare and fleeting this specific conscious arrangement truly is, you can no longer afford to squander your precious time on trivial anxieties, petty grievances, or the endless, exhausting pursuit of artificial status. Every single sunrise you witness, every gentle touch you feel, and every quiet moment of contemplation you experience is an absolute, staggering, cosmic luxury. By simply holding this vast, peaceful perspective in your own mind, by letting the knowledge of your infinite physical destiny guide your daily actions, you actively change the world around you. Your quiet confidence in the face of uncertainty, your deep empathy born of biological interconnectedness, and your profound reverence for the natural world become a gentle, stabilizing force in a society often driven by fear and separation. You become a quiet, grounded testament to the majesty of the cosmos, a living reminder that we are all completely safe, completely connected, and completely eternal within the grand, sweeping architecture of physical reality. In the next and final chapter of our contemplative journey together, we will gather all of these profound scientific truths and weave them into a single, cohesive vision of your eternal cosmic destiny. But for right now, as you sit quietly in the present moment, simply bring your full, gentle awareness back to the steady rhythm of your breathing. Feel the ancient, recycled air filling your lungs, connecting you to the entire history of the world. Acknowledge the profound, beautiful miracle that you exist at all, and allow the vast, quiet peace of the infinite cosmos to completely, gently fill every corner of your conscious mind. You are the universe, wide awake, and your journey has only just begun. Have you ever looked deeply into a mirror, past the familiar features of your face, and truly wondered who or what is actually doing the looking? We spend the vast majority of our waking hours completely absorbed in the immediate, practical concerns of being human. We worry about our daily responsibilities, our social relationships, and the endless ticking clock of our earthly obligations. In doing so, we often completely overlook the most staggering, scientifically improbable miracle in the entire known universe: the sheer fact that we are aware at all. In our journey so far, we have traced the indestructible physical elements of your body from the fiery hearts of ancient stars to the quiet, expanding depths of the dark era. We have dissolved the illusion of separation and bound your physical destiny to the magnificent architecture of the cosmic web. To fully grasp the profound, transformative power of this knowledge, we must turn our contemplative lens inward, away from the wandering atoms, and focus on the magnificent, quiet storm of electricity and chemistry creating your conscious mind. The universe is primarily composed of silent, unthinking matter and dark, invisible energy. Yet, through billions of years of meticulous biological evolution, a tiny fraction of that ancient stardust has miraculously woken up. You are not simply a passive resident of the cosmos. You are the cosmos actively opening its eyes to witness its own breathtaking majesty. Let us explore the rigorous, beautiful science of the human brain. Safely encased within the protective shell of your skull lies the most complex, highly organized structure we have ever discovered in the 14-billion-year history of existence. Your brain is composed of approximately 86 billion neurons, a staggering number that elegantly mirrors the hundreds of billions of glowing stars swirling within our Milky Way galaxy. These tiny, ancient cells are continuously communicating, firing electrical impulses and exchanging chemical signals across trillions of delicate synaptic connections. When you gaze up at the night sky, it is this magnificent biological network doing the feeling. But remember our fundamental lesson. Every single one of those 86 billion neurons is constructed entirely from the exact same ancient elements we have been discussing. The carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen forming your brain tissue were forged in the silent depths of deep space. The electrical currents powering your thoughts are governed by the exact same quantum mechanical laws dictating the behavior of electrons in the furthest, most ancient galaxies. This scientific reality reveals a profound poetic truth, first articulated by the brilliant astronomer Carl Sagan. We are a way for the universe to know itself. Before the slow evolution of complex nervous systems, the universe was incredibly vast, exceptionally beautiful, and completely blind. Stars ignited, galaxies collided, and massive black holes warped the invisible fabric of space-time in absolute silence, without a single witness to appreciate their grandeur. But when biological life crossed the threshold into conscious awareness, the universe experienced a fundamental transformation. Through your eyes, the universe is finally able to see the glowing light of its own ancient stars. Through your mind, the universe is able to comprehend the elegant mathematical equations governing its own expansion. The very fact that you are sitting here right now, reading these words and contemplating the infinite journey of your physical matter after death, is a profoundly significant cosmic event. It is the universe engaging in a quiet, beautiful act of deep self-reflection. When we view our human lives through this specific, awe-inspiring lens, the inevitable end of our biological journey takes on a completely different meaning. We often fear that death will permanently erase our unique perspective, casting our hard-won knowledge and our deeply felt experiences into an endless void. But physics and the interconnected nature of reality offer a much more comforting, enduring narrative. While the localized biological structure of your consciousness will eventually gently diffuse, the profound energetic ripples of your existence will continue to echo outward through the complex web of human history and the physical universe. Think of the words you speak, the kindness you offer, and the knowledge you share. These are actual, physical transfers of energy. When you teach a child about the natural world, or comfort a friend in deep sorrow, You are actively reconfiguring the neural pathways in their brain. You are passing a spark of your own cosmic awareness to another temporary vessel. These quiet, invisible ripples do not stop with the people you know personally. The energy you invest in creating art, building a peaceful community, or simply living a life of quiet compassion becomes permanently woven into the vast, unfolding tapestry of human culture. Long after your physical elements surrender their biological form to rejoin the ancient carbon cycle of the Earth, the energetic consequences of your conscious choices will resonate through the generations that follow. You are participating in the gradual collective awakening of our species. Furthermore, the faint electromagnetic radiation emitted by the complex electrical firing of your brain actually travels outward, leaving the Earth and propagating quietly into deep space. Your moments of profound wonder, your deepest questions about reality, and your quietest moments of inner peace leave an indelible, microscopic signature upon the electromagnetic spectrum of the cosmos. This means your legacy is not dependent upon achieving earthly fame, building massive monuments, or being remembered by name in history books. Your true, enduring legacy is the simple, undeniable fact that you were here, that you were conscious, and that you added your unique, fleeting spark to the grand, sweeping narrative of the universe's awakening. You are a crucial link in a chain of cosmic evolution stretching back billions of years into the dark past, and will stretch billions of years forward into the unknown future. The profound knowledge that you are a physical extension of the universe, destined for an eternal journey through the stars, is not just a scientific curiosity. It is a transformative, deeply healing tool you can use to navigate the complex waters of your daily human existence. Let us consider how this vast, cosmic perspective can actively relieve the heavy burdens we carry in our waking lives. So much of our earthly suffering is generated by an exhausting need to control our environment, to aggressively secure our temporary identities against the relentless, gentle flow of time. We build psychological fortresses to protect ourselves from the unknown, and we cling tightly to the illusion of permanence. But when you truly, deeply accept that your fundamental elements are already permanent, that your energy can never be destroyed, and that your ultimate destination is a quiet, peaceful return to the magnificent architecture of the cosmic web, that desperate need for control begins to quietly dissolve. You realize you do not need to fight against the natural rhythms of existence because you are fundamentally safe within them. The universe is not a hostile enemy to be conquered. It is your ancient, beautiful home, and it will eventually, gently welcome you back. Imagine carrying this profound, quiet certainty into the most challenging moments of your life. When faced with a deep personal loss, a daunting failure, or the inevitable physical decline accompanying the passing years, you can close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and retreat into the absolute safety of your cosmic identity. You can remind yourself that your current struggles, while valid and deeply felt, are occurring upon the surface of a single, pale blue dot, suspended in an average galaxy, among trillions of other galaxies scattered across the endless dark. This does not make your human experiences meaningless. It simply removes their sharpest, most painful edges. It places them within a container of infinite time and infinite space, allowing you to experience them with a sense of gentle grace, quiet humility, and profound, enduring peace. The fear of the unknown, the lingering anxiety about what truly happens when the final silence arrives, is cured by the rigorous, elegant light of scientific understanding. As we gently prepare to take the final step in our journey together, moving into our 10th and culminating exploration, we will gather every thread we have woven. We will construct a final, cohesive vision of your place in the universe, a beautiful, scientifically grounded narrative you can carry with you for the rest of your earthly days. But for now, in this quiet present moment, simply rest in the wonder of your own conscious mind. Acknowledge the incredible, mathematically improbable miracle that the universe has organized its ancient dust into a form capable of recognizing its own infinite beauty. You are the cosmos, wide awake, and your existence is a breathtaking, eternal masterpiece. Have you ever stepped out of your home on a completely clear, silent night, away from the glaring, artificial lights of the bustling city, and simply allowed your eyes to adjust to the profound, overwhelming darkness of the sky above? In that exceptionally quiet moment, as the faint ancient light of countless distant stars begins to gently reveal itself to your widening pupils, you might have experienced a sudden, inexplicable feeling of deep recognition. It is not the cold, terrifying feeling of staring into an empty abyss, but rather a warm, resonant sense of arriving home after a remarkably long, exhausting absence. Throughout our extensive, contemplative journey together, we have methodically dismantled the deeply ingrained human illusion that you are a small, fragile, and temporary creature, forever separated from the monumental mechanics of the physical world. We have traveled from the microscopic, shimmering uncertainty of the deepest quantum fields to the breathtaking, sweeping architecture of the Laniakea supercluster. And in doing so, we have uncovered a rigorous, scientifically validated truth that possesses the absolute power to permanently banish your existential fear of the unknown. The ultimate destination of your physical being, the profound answer to the ancient mystery of where you truly go after your biological life gently concludes, is not a dark, silent void. You are going exactly where you have always been. You are returning, in the most literal, physical sense imaginable, to the infinite, vibrating embrace of the ancient cosmos that birthed you. Let us gather all the scientific threads we have carefully woven, and behold the magnificent, completed tapestry of your eternal existence. The physical elements that currently provide rigid structure to your bones and flexible strength to your beating heart were forged in the unimaginably hot, crushing depths of massive stars billions of years ago. You are, unequivocally, made of ancient star stuff. When your biological journey reaches its natural conclusion, these fundamental building blocks will not be erased. The universal law of conservation of mass absolutely guarantees that not a single carbon, oxygen, or iron atom of your physical form can ever be destroyed. They will simply be released from the highly organized pattern of your human body, diffusing gently back into the terrestrial biosphere. They will nourish the roots of towering forests, flow continuously through the silent currents of the global oceans, and eventually, billions of years in the far future, they will be drawn upward into the expanding, fiery atmosphere of our dying red giant sun. Your matter will be cast out upon stellar winds, returning to the cold, silent depths of the interstellar medium to drift for eons, ready to participate in the slow-motion birth of entirely new solar systems across the vast expanse of the Milky Way. Simultaneously, the vital, radiant energy that currently powers your complex thoughts and warms your living skin will embark upon its own infinite cosmic journey. The rigorous, unbreakable first law of thermodynamics assures us that this energy can never be extinguished. As your biological engine quietly powers down, your thermal energy will radiate outward, transforming into invisible packets of infrared light that will immediately escape the confines of our blue planet. These microscopic travelers will sail silently outward at exactly 186,282 miles per second, crossing the unimaginable gulfs of empty space to eventually bathe the unseen shores of alien galaxies. You will become a subtle physical thread eternally woven into the background radiation of the entire universe. A permanent energetic signature, adding to the grand thermodynamic balance of the cosmos. And as your scattered matter and your radiating energy travel through the profound silence of deep space, they will bear witness to the breathtaking, slow unfolding of deep cosmic time. Your elements will participate in the magnificent, chaotic gravitational dance as the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy gently merge into a single, colossal elliptical titan. They will be swept up in the superheated, invisible currents of the intracluster medium, and they will flow quietly along the vast, glowing filaments of the cosmic web. Even as the universe inexorably continues its accelerating expansion, driven by the mysterious, relentless force of dark energy, and even as the very last, long-lived red dwarf stars finally exhaust their nuclear fuel and fade into silent black dwarfs, your fundamental essence will endure. Whether preserved perfectly within the frozen, crushing density of a dead star, drawn into the quiet, preserving gravity of a supermassive black hole, or eventually dissolved completely back into pure, vibrating quantum fields through the theoretical decay of protons, your existence is an unbreakable, continuous physical narrative that simply has no ultimate end. You are bound to the infinite cycle of cosmic rebirth, where the perfect silence of the dark era becomes the fertile, vibrating soil for the next spectacular dawn of existence. When you truly, deeply internalize this rigorous scientific reality, the way you experience every single moment of your present, waking life changes fundamentally and forever. The heavy, suffocating anxiety that surrounds the concept of mortality gently evaporates, replaced by a profound, unshakable inner peace. You realize that the desperate human struggle to build permanent legacies and secure our fragile identities against the relentless flow of time is entirely unnecessary. You do not need to fight to become permanent, because you are already composed entirely of the most permanent, indestructible materials in the universe. Your life is not a brief, tragic flash of light doomed to be swallowed by an uncaring, eternal dark. Rather, your life is an incredibly rare, exceptionally beautiful, and mathematically improbable moment where the ancient, wandering elements of the cosmos have temporarily aligned to achieve the profound miracle of conscious awareness. You are the universe looking at itself, feeling its own warmth, and marveling at its own staggering complexity. This vast, peaceful cosmic perspective acts as a profound, healing balm for the everyday anxieties and the deeply felt sorrows of our earthly existence. When you feel overwhelmed by the isolating pressures of modern society, or when you find yourself trapped within the narrow, confining walls of your own daily worries, you now possess the powerful intellectual ability to instantly zoom out. You can deliberately shift your perspective away from the rapidly ticking clock of the human calendar and gently align your thoughts with the slow, majestic, patient rhythm of the turning galaxies. You can remember that the atoms in your lungs are continuously shared with every single living creature on the planet, completely dissolving the painful, artificial illusion of your own separation. You can find deep, quiet solace in the absolute certainty that whatever hardships you are currently facing, you are held perfectly and securely within the gentle, unbreakable laws of physics, a permanent resident of an ancient, infinite system that operates with a flawless, breathtaking elegance. Furthermore, this profound cosmic knowledge deepens your capacity for radical empathy and boundless, quiet compassion. When you look at the people around you, you are no longer seeing disconnected strangers or adversarial competitors. You are seeing fellow cosmic travelers, beautifully complex arrangements of the exact same ancient stardust, sharing this specific, fleeting moment of biological awareness upon the surface of a small, fragile, pale blue dot. We are all deeply, physically connected to one another through the shared history of our atoms and the continuous invisible exchange of our immediate environment. Recognizing this shared cosmic heritage fosters a profound sense of unity and a gentle, respectful reverence for all forms of life. It reminds us that our true responsibility is not to conquer the world or to accumulate temporary earthly power, but to care for one another and for the precious natural systems that sustain us, honoring the magnificent, ancient materials from which we are all so miraculously constructed. As we bring this long, quiet journey of exploration to a final close, I invite you to carry this vast, comforting perspective with you into the gentle unfolding of your daily life. Let it change the way you watch a colorful, fading sunset, knowing that you are observing the fiery nuclear fusion of our local star through the clear lens of a highly evolved, biological masterpiece. Let it change the way you endure moments of quiet sorrow, allowing the immense scale of the universe to gently cradle your grief and remind you of your eternal integration with the whole. Let it change the way you face the ultimate unknown, transforming your natural human fear into a profound, respectful wonder. The mystery of the cosmos is not a dark puzzle meant to terrify us. It is a beautiful, endless frontier meant to invite our endless, quiet curiosity. You are boundless. You are infinite. You are an essential, beautiful, and indestructible part of the grandest story ever told. A story written in the fundamental language of energy, matter, and the deep, silent expanse of space-time. When the biological rhythm of your life eventually reaches its natural, quiet conclusion, do not despair. You are merely preparing to surrender your temporary human form in order to rejoin the vast, rolling ocean of the cosmos. You are returning to the majestic, silent architecture of the cosmic web, ready to ride the ancient gravitational currents into the deep, undiscovered future. Thank you for sharing this quiet space of contemplation with me, and for allowing your mind to wander so far beyond the familiar shores of our earthly existence. It has been a profound privilege to serve as your gentle guide through the staggering beauty of the physical universe, exploring the deep mysteries that bind us all together. If this contemplative journey has brought you a sense of peace, or helped you see your own existence in a new, comforting light, please know that there is a vast, quiet community of cosmic explorers who share your deep wonder and your enduring curiosity. I invite you to remain a permanent part of this shared journey. We will continue to explore the breathtaking mysteries of the cosmos together, transforming the complex realities of science into quiet, meditative paths toward profound inner peace. Until our next journey into the deep unknown, remember to breathe deeply, to look up at the ancient stars with a sense of absolute belonging, and to always, Always keep wondering.